All right, live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday night, May 28th, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. Glad you're in. Lots to talk about on a Tuesday. Hope you had a nice weekend. Hope you spent some time yesterday on Memorial Day remembering what that day is about. Slick Rick, how are you?
I'm doing good tonight, Big D.
Very good. What's coming up in sports tonight? We got some action tonight. We got Rangers hockey. We got basketball. We got
the Rangers down in Florida looking to take a commanding 3-1 lead over the Panthers. We got NBA action tonight, right? Dallas looking to
closing it out.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're going to close out Minnesota tonight. And then we have, of course, Mike Tyson reveals the health scare after a medical issue over the weekend. And the sad news about pro golfer Grayson Murray's cause of death was revealed as well.
Yes, it was.
Shame.
Grayson Murray.
Shame.
Rest in peace, Bill Walton.
Great Bill Walton. Oh, yeah. Yes, yesterday.
Yep. All right, so we'll do sports coming up. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell and My Pillow, of course. Rick Delgado's here. He's going to do some news. Delgado, how are you?
I am good. Had a good Memorial Day weekend. Again, thank you to all those that served. We're here doing this because of you, so we appreciate it. Thank you for your service and for your sacrifice. And part of what we're able to do is fire up my torch, my weed torch. I was weed torching all weekend, man. It was glorious. Mm-hmm. It was wonderful. It was fun.
Me and Slick have come to a couple conclusions before the show that we keep to ourselves.
Absolutely.
About you and your weed torch.
Right.
But
I think you're a flamethrower for sure.
I am a flamethrower. I did that.
Low torch of freedom.
I was all over the place.
Oh, man.
Good weekend, definitely.
All right, very good. Mr. Zier is here. He's going to do some news as well. David Zier, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. Saw the grandkids yesterday for Memorial Day. Was in D.C. for the Libertarian convention. I'll get into that. Crazy. And I covered the closing arguments today in Manhattan for the defense. Mm-hmm. And that was pretty interesting, pretty good. They went on for 2 hours. And the prosecution's still going. It's 8:15. These jurors are going to have Stockholm syndrome and vote Trump guilty because they've been there for 6.5 hours with the prosecution. I got some updates for you, though. And, so things are good.
Well, we can start right there. If they're going to vote Trump guilty, they're certainly not going to do it because the prosecution did anything to prove a case beyond any reasonable doubt or any doubt at all. Never mind reasonable doubt. They did no such thing. The jury, I don't think half of them, if not all of them, don't even know what the secondary crime is. And what's very interesting, obviously I'm not in the courtroom, and maybe you could speak to this more. It seems to me that the prosecution, if you're going to, when you charge the former and possibly next president of the United States, you think you've got to be pretty airtight in your case and in your summation. Your summation, you need 5 hours to try to basically relitigate or try to go hash over all the mistakes you've made and try to somehow lay groundwork that you didn't lay during it. I hope the jurors pay attention to think to themselves, well, why do these guys need 11 hours today in total, 9 or whatever it is that they're taking? It's past 8 o'clock. They're still going. The judge has said to the prosecution, hey, let's wrap this up by 8, which obviously is not happening.
Well,
but I hope the jury sits there and thinks, well, what do they need all this time for? And they're just making my hair melt. Listening to this, want to pull my hair out. I have no idea what the secondary crime is. Their star witness is a proven lie. I mean, I just hope I just hope we don't get what everybody just expects because we're in New York.
So go on, Rick.
No, I was going to say that last thing you said about basically not even introducing new evidence. From what I understand, they're introducing new evidence that wasn't even presented as part of their case. It's almost like they're doing an entire new case, from what I hear, of things that are being presented by the prosecution in this bore fest. I would think they might just come back with a verdict real quick and be like, not guilty, we're tired of this crap, and go home, because this is nuts. 5.5, 6 hours now.
So
the judge is in the tank.
Oh, big time.
The judge is just in the tank.
Todd Blanche was quick. It was like 2.5 hours. And we have Andrew Giuliani still in the courtroom. He just updated me a little while ago. And we have Ben Bergquam on the ground. I was there for half the day. Joshua Steinglass, arguing for the prosecution, has lost the jury. This is from Andrew Giuliani, taking forever. And they took And they look lost and tired. There is nothing connecting Trump directly, no matter how hard the prosecution tries to pound the table. It looks like they're going to be in there till 8:30 tonight. And, I was with Jonathan Turley all week last week. I thought you'd like that because he's so great, And he had a great article. I don't know if you saw his latest writings.
I saw that his thing in the Post today. Here's why this case should end in a not guilty. I've seen that. I saw that. I have that.
Yeah, and he's saying that this is a state misdemeanor which died years ago under the statute.
Yes, it did.
And that Bragg referenced 4 crimes. Now he's claiming only 3: a tax violation, and or a state or federal campaign finance violation. But they have no authority to enforce the federal law.
Well, and see, that's the main point of what's going on today, because Andy McCarthy made the point. Now, Andy McCarthy is no fan of Trump on any stretch, and he is at his wit's end with what he is seeing in this courtroom. And he said today, I heard him in an interview, and I think he wrote in National Review, he said the cat is clearly out of the bag here. That the judge here is in total cahoots with Steinglass in the prosecution and with Bragg at this point. There's almost no doubt about it, because he says, listening to the prosecution's summation by Steinglass, he said they are explicitly relying on violations of the federal law as the other crime, all of a sudden, that Donald Trump was allegedly concealing by causing his business records to be falsified. And he says it's impossible to draw any other conclusion other than the Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg knew that as a state prosecutor, his enforcement of federal law would be incredibly controversial since he has no such authority. And why we've gone this whole trial, and we keep saying, and others keep saying, what's the other crime? What's the other crime? What's the other crime? Why can't Brad Smith, the federal elections guy, why can't he testify? Why is it the judge doesn't want him anywhere near the courtroom? And now all of a sudden in the summation, the prosecution is relying on all of these federal election things after the election guy wasn't allowed to even prosecute, wasn't even allowed to testify. They've never been able to lay out a secondary crime, which of course is the federal elections crime. That's what brings this to a that where they can copy and paste 34 times.
Yeah, and Todd Blanche was pretty good, and he simplified it, and he said if they wanted to hide this, they wrote a 1099 out and disclosed this to the IRS. It wasn't like they were hiding the payments. Well,
besides that, the federal agencies that would have investigated this did.
Right, and they
didn't
concluded
want
no
to
crime.
Take the case.
And he also said that every campaign in this country is a conspiracy because every campaign wants to put their candidate in the best light. And he was talking about the AMI National Enquirer, David Pecker relationship on how they consistently represent celebrities and other politicians, other people, and write positive things about him. And that this catch and kill scheme, this so-called scheme, was totally bogus. And, the story involving the illegitimate child was fake. Lisa McDougal, she didn't want she just wanted to be on the cover of a magazine. And other forces were taking advantage of her. Her attorney got 45%. Her security got money. Everybody was in on it to shake down Trump. And Stormy Daniels, it was an extortion scheme. So I think Todd Branch simplified it and made it easy, but the jury, I saw one juror nodding his head in agreement with Todd Blanche. I thought that was interesting.
Alvin Bragg is making up his own version of federal law. The judge is in cahoots with them, not allowing them to go through this whole trial, not make any notion or put on the record or in the damn indictment what the other crime is. He's let them go this whole time. And now in closing arguments, that's all they're relying on to try to make this case is the FECA violation. I mean, it's just crazy that he's letting them do this in summation. Basically, a guy keeps going, well, Trump violated federal election law. That's been no part of the whole case. the whole time. They haven't been able to talk about it. He has no authority to try to prove it. They didn't allow the defense's expert witness in that, who would have come up there and said no, not even to testify. And then this is the focus of their summation for the prosecution.
Damon Turks.
So what? I'm sorry, Damon.
Yeah.
What else can you draw from that other than Bragg and the judge are in cahoots?
And Turley also pointed out that Merchan has ruled the jury does not have to agree on what the crime is. The jury could split it into 3 groups of 4 on which 3 crimes were being concealed, and Merchan will still treat it as a unanimous verdict.
Yeah, so that's the craziest. That's the craziest thing. So it's like only 4 people agreed that he did this, 4 people agreed that he did this, and 4 people agreed that he did this. All those in any other case in the world ever would be dismissed because it's got to be at least in this country it would be dismissed. You got to have 12. It's not 4 and then 4 over here and then 4 over there and you add them up. It's not like you add up stuff. It's like, oh, look how much I have. Oh my goodness, I have 12 guilty verdicts. You could have 87 different crimes and have 12 guilty verdicts and be like, well, you're guilty of everything.
Yeah. They could have a verdict.
According to them.
Yeah.
This is insanity. This is third world banana republic justice on display in New York City for everybody to see. And you know what? And then they wheel out that D-bag De Niro, who basically confirms that this is a campaign thing. We're involved. Right?
Yeah.
That's a confirmation because they send this guy out with a prepared statement talking about voting for Biden right in front of the courthouse at 10 o'clock this morning. What do you think that is? It's a campaign thing.
Well, he started it by threatening the president with physical violence. So the Trump supporters were just hammering him. Man.
Oh, yeah. He got annihilated.
Ruthless. Yeah.
Him and his 6-inch lift shoes, putzing around New York, thinking he's Mr. New York. Dude, nobody cares about you. You and your stupid sushi restaurant, nobody cares. You were relevant 20 years ago. Go away.
And we'll talk about Fanone maybe later. Officer Fanone, who's a total phony, was there getting it from Trump people, too.
That whole thing today is actually, I don't know how that works for them. The whole day, I don't know how it works for them.
It doesn't.
It is really strange that they thought that was a good idea. All right, live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday night, just getting started. We're back. News, sports, all coming up.
Okay, so, here it is. They had a good conversation with Turley.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everybody, Facebookers. Good evening, good evening.
So Turley says they've rested as of 14 minutes ago. Prosecution's done.
Are they done for the day? Are they coming back tomorrow to do more?
They're going to deliberate tomorrow.
The judge is going to give I don't know if he's doing that tonight or he's going to start the day tomorrow with his instructions, which should be interesting.
I'll be in there in the morning. I'll try to update you.
You may not need to be there tomorrow if there's nothing going on.
Well,
if he gives it to the jury, they're going to be out.
You can...
Yeah, but you never know when they're going to come back.
They shouldn't be out long, I tell you that.
You can sit. You have to sit. I think Trump has to sit in the courtroom.
Any sense?
While they deliberate.
No.
Yeah, part of it, yeah. He has to be there tomorrow. He's showing up at 9:20 tomorrow. He's making a statement before he goes in. I got a message from the campaign.
What'd you get? Don't open that here. You don't know where it came from.
No, she's good. What do we got here?
I just don't understand if you're on the jury how you can take these guys seriously if they need 9 hours to try to. They need to relitigate their airtight case to you. I just don't.
Yeah, they spent almost as much time as they spent the whole time during the trial.
I just don't get it. All right, 17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday night. We'll do sports news all coming up. I was just saying to the guys in the break, if you're on this jury, other than just being in the tank because you have Trump derangement syndrome from the start, which I guess we'll find out if that's the case for all 12 of them, I just don't know how you sit there and it doesn't occur to you that an 8-hour close by the prosecution on supposedly their airtight case seems strange. And you say, well, wait a minute, why are they taking so long? What is this stuff I've never heard of before? Why do I feel like I'm hearing things I didn't hear in the trial? Now they're all talking about all this federal election stuff. We didn't hear any federal election stuff during the trial. Now they don't know that the judge wouldn't allow the witness for the defense, I'm assuming. But I mean, I don't know. Well, we're going to find out. Turley says the prosecution is rested. Their summation is done, and now at this point, I guess it goes to the judge to give the instructions to the jury, and then the jury's off. So I don't know if all that's going to happen tonight, or he's going to do that first thing in the morning and give his instructions, which really try not to think of the worst, but I can't imagine his instructions are not going to be as poisonous as humanly possible, given the way that this guy is. I mean, just totally in the tank with Bragg in his office. Although Josh Hammer, who I read to you last week in about Biden not being stuck with the nominee, says the notion that people are saying that Merchant's jury instructions could somehow fail to specifically instruct jurors about the second substantive in furtherance of crime and the underlying statute, including the requisite mens rea intent, what the president's intent was, is absolutely crazy, insane, he says. So as an attorney, he thinks that it's people saying that the jury's going to go into the deliberation without knowing what the underlying crime is not so fast. But I don't know. All right, Levin has some thoughts on this judge, too. We'll get to those, but let's do some sports right now. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell and MyPillow. Use our code LFS6B at checkout. Slick Rick, what's going on?
All right, Big D. Well, let's get caught up on what's happening tonight in the scoreboard. Rangers and Panthers in Florida. Ammirati Bank statement in Florida. The Panthers looking to even that series. Rangers with a big overtime win on Sunday. Just a resilient, remarkable team. Looks like a destined team to go all the way, but we'll see. Panthers want to have something to say about that puck drop in in just a few minutes. And we have NBA action as well, Big D. Western Conference Finals. The Dallas Mavericks looking to close out the Minnesota Timberwolves in 4 straight. No team in NBA history has come back down 3-0 when they've been down 3-0. I think it's 154-0 in NBA history, Game 7. So not looking good for Minnesota to start anything in the record books right now. But again, we'll keep you updated on both those scores as well. And I have to get to a story, and Big D, I'm glad you mentioned it earlier, some sad news in the NBA world yesterday as Hall of Famer, the great, and I mean great, Bill Walton, 2-time champ at UCLA and in NBA, passed away, ESPN News Services. Basketball legend Bill Walton, who led the UCLA Bruins to 2 national titles before winning 2 championships during his NBA career, has died at the age of 71 after a prolonged battle with cancer. Walton died Monday while surrounded by his loved ones, his family, and in a statement released by the NBA, Bill Walton was truly one of a kind. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said in a statement, he was the NBA's MVP in the 1977-78 season and a member of the league's 50th and 75th anniversary teams that all followed a college career in which he was a 2-time champion at UCLA and 3-time National Player of the Year under iconic coach John Wooden. What I will remember the most about him was his zest for life, Silver said in his statement. He was a regular presence at league events, always upbeat, smiling ear to ear, and looking to share his wisdom and warmth. I treasured our close friendship, envied his boundless energy, and admired the time he took with every person he encountered. He was just an unbelievably great talent, right? Big, what a great announcer, too, for many years for the NBA. Really helped shape the league. And again, to be on the 50th and 75th all-time teams, you got to have done something in your career to be there. So the great Bill Walton passed away. And, well, his Celtics won for him last night, and they closed out the Indiana Pacers. And then they're moving on now to host the winner of the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves game. Well, probably tonight. They'll probably know. Maybe Minnesota could pull one out tonight, but I certainly don't see them obviously coming back and doing something that's never been done before and winning this in 7. So that's it on that, Big D. I want to get to just one other quick story. We had the Indy 500 over the weekend. I don't know if anybody had a chance to catch that.
My goodness,
that was insane.
Holy moly! Did you watch that last?
It was out of this world.
The last 20 laps were insane.
The weather alone, really made it a tough race. But so Joseph Newgarden wins Indy 500 for 2nd straight year after epic duel, like you just said, Rick. This is Ellen J. Hara of USA Today. The reigning Indy 500 champion is now back-to-back champion. Joseph Newgarden battled Pato O'Ward Sunday in the closing laps of the 2024 Indy 500 as the Team Penske and Arrow McLaren drivers traded the lead multiple times as the laps wound down in 108th of the legendary race. But with one final pass on the white flag lap, Newgarden became the 6th driver to win consecutive Indianapolis 500s, giving team owner and Indianapolis Motor Speedway chairman Roger Penske his 20th win in the greatest spectacle in racing. Newgarden is the first driver since 4-time winner Helio Castroneves in 2001 and 2002. Remember that name?
Yeah.
To win the Indy 500
he was in the race
consecutive
too.
years. He's a fantastic racer. But Newgarden bounded into the stands after climbing from his car to salute the fans in Indianapolis who endured a 4-hour delay for rain before embracing his wife Ashley. So good for Joseph Newgarden. And that's a wrap on sports. Big D, back to you.
Wow, 2 years in a row. That's pretty good.
Awesome.
I didn't see 1 second of it.
Oh my goodness! If you could find,
because they all always turn left. I'm waiting for one of them to turn right. That would be a little more exciting.
Well, that's the problem. You prefer everybody on the right, and you stick with that. Big.
That would be a road course, but
too hard left there for me.
If you do go and dig up the last say the last 15 to 20 laps, it will suck you in. These guys are pegging 222, 223 miles an hour per lap, zipping around trying to pass
Sounds
each
like
other.
Zier getting to the studio.
Oh
from
my
the
goodness!
city.
Exactly. Hot sweat. Yeah.
I had a moonshot today. I was doing like 90.
Oh my goodness!
It's like the NBA. You watch the last 20, 30 seconds, you got the whole game.
I was reading Scott McLaughlin. What was he? He got pole position in this year's Indy 500. He had a 4-lap average of 234 miles an hour.
Okay.
Which might have been the fastest ever.
That is, the speeds are incredible.
Yeah.
When you think when they started, I think the highest speed was like 72 miles an hour. Big D does more of that in the
the speeds have almost
parking lot trying to get home.
I do that in the parking lot getting out of here.
the speeds have almost doubled since its inception. On average,
almost tripled.
Yeah.
Almost tripled.
Yeah.
All right, very good, Slick. We'll do some more sports.
Yeah.
We'll do some news coming up with Rick Delgado here in a second, but let's get back to this judge Mark Levin has some thoughts on this judge today. He says, this judge is a crooked judge, pure and simple. I'm not in the courthouse, but I'm listening carefully to lawyers that I trust who are texting, emailing, as well as those who have left the courthouse and are speaking directly about this. The judge is a disgusting fraud who has his foot on the defense lawyer's neck while he allows the prosecutor to ramble on in every direction, including only now about federal campaign law and personal insinuations about Trump, as well as suggestions that Cohen's actions can be inferred onto Trump. Truly outrageous. The judge was specifically appointed to handle this case. From the start, he has shredded the law and the rules of evidence. He has stomped all over due process. He has silenced Trump to respecting most aspects of the case. He has allowed collateral evidence into the trial, of which there is a ton. He has assumed jurisdiction over federal election law, preventing the defense from putting one of the top experts in the nation from testifying in front of the jury. He has not directed the prosecution to state the alleged federal crimes with specificity, i.e. the federal campaign law. He has not required proof of anything, let alone a citation to what law they're now inferring in closing summation. And I'll finish this when we get back. And he's absolutely right.
Yeah. Slick, more than tripled.
Yeah. Unbelievable, right?
74 miles an hour in 1911.
Yeah. Wow. How times have changed. But they're still going hard to the left every lap.
Did you see? Did you?
I didn't realize Bill Walton was so sick. I didn't realize it.
I did not either.
Young guy.
Kept it.
He was only
70,
71.
Yeah, right? 71?
Check this out. It's fucking great.
What did someone just say in the chat I saw? We don't ask Big D about racing. He thinks golf is still a sport.
Oh, gosh.
We've learned not to ask Big D about racing. He still thinks golf is a sport. 919. That's what I'm talking about. Of course I know golf is a sport.
Right? Literally. Talking about a horn dog.
You know, I always think of that movie One on One. I always think of One on One with Robbie Benson.
That's what it is. Yeah, you finally got that.
No, that's definitely an LOL.
That is too
Holy
beautiful.
shit.
Who's Robbie Benson?
He was in that.
Benson. Oh, he's
When I think of Bill Walton, I think of Robbie Benson in One on One in 1975 with Annette O'Toole when he made the college basketball team.
Oh, yeah, I was too.
With J.D. Spratlin. That was a great movie.
And you didn't watch it? You probably did. You don't remember.
Slick,
out
your
in
shirt is
77.
upside down, someone said.
Oh, really? Yeah, man. I was running neck and neck to get here. Yeah. No, it's fun.
Who didn't like Annette O'Toole?
She's a tool.
Exactly. Too bad.
Oh, my God.
Hey, Fran, I'm going to send you something.
Oh, that is. Rick just showed me
really
it's beautiful.
freaking funny.
It's moron.
I was going to send it, then I didn't. Now that
People
I
loving
showed it
your
to
jacket
Slick,
tonight, Slick.
Oh, yeah, the little glitter.
I think
Allison
I think I'm
Johnson
gonna
says
send
she
it to
loves
you.
your
Come on, Allison.
loves your jacket.
Thank you.
It's actually pretty freaking. I probably should have sent it.
I heard she knows a little something about fashion. Not.
It doesn't need bleeps either.
Hello, Kathy.
Why is somebody telling me to pronounce Nevada properly?
It's
I didn't-
Nevada.
Come on.
I didn't say Nevada
What do you want?
tonight.
We're from New York over here.
No, it's because they remember how
Maroon.
annoying it is when you say it wrong. It's like Nike.
I don't remember when I used it last.
Like when someone
It's
says
like saying
Nike.
Louisville. Louisville.
Oh, Louisville.
Louisville.
No,
I got to get some tobacco in my left cheek.
Hello, Janice. Hello, Randy. Does anyone trust the jurors? No.
Yeah, I didn't buy. I got a gift, but I'm trying to open it up.
Can't even open it.
It must be a.
Big D, your jacket could use some sparkle too. Absolutely.
right,
Why didn't you think about that?
Got to
Slick?
bedazzle it.
I mean, bedazzle this.
Bedazzle it. Well,
So is it Nevada or Nevada?
I got to
Nevada.
get some scissors.
Nevada.
Nevada.
Must be
Nevada.
Klopman
Hi,
90.
Janet.
Fran for the win.
Hey, Fran, someone's talking to you on Kick. I love Kick. What are we
Kick.
up to on Kick? Like
3.
6, 7 people?
3.
6 tonight.
6.
Yes.
That's a kick.
What'd you say, Master?
I said a show.
What was I doing the show?
Levin says, then there was Stormy Daniels, who was used to embarrass Trump and spew her hate and nothing more. Michael Cohen, who lies whenever he opens his mouth, was the lead state witness. That is how preposterous this entire case is. Now the Access Hollywood tape, none of this is relevant.
No.
It is all intended to create anger and hatred against Trump by the jurors, which is an abomination. The character assassination under cover of so-called justice is pure Stalinism. Only one can imagine what kind of jury instructions this so-called judge is going to give. That's exactly right. Meanwhile, to underscore the political nature of all of this, as if it needs to be underscored, the Biden campaign used Robert De Niro, a foul-mouthed loser, to accuse Trump of effectively being Genghis Khan in the midst of closing arguments. And the White House has told the media that Biden himself will comment as president after the jury issues a verdict. Let's remember, this is a non-case. There is no crime, federal, state, or local. The state misdemeanor having to do with corporate reporting was not violated. The NDA was a legal expense and reported as such. The misdemeanor statute has run statute of limitations anyways. As a result of left-wing groups filing a complaint with the FEC claiming the NDA was an illegal federal campaign contribution, the FEC said it was not. As if all of this were not enough, the SDNY U.S. Attorney's Office took another look at the case. They dropped it. Indeed, it was Cohen who agreed to committing a list of federal crimes, including perjury. The former Manhattan DA looked at it, dropped it. Bragg originally blew it off. But when one of Biden's henchmen was sent to NY to work on the case, non-fraud case, and then moved to the non-crime criminal case, then and only then was it taken up. Then the preposterous theory was concocted. Well, the state misdemeanor statute can't be revived if the NDA can be said to have covered up another crime, in this case a federal campaign violation, and their key witness Cohen, of course, the DA has no jurisdictional authority over federal campaign matters. The FEC and the SDNY do have jurisdiction, but refused to bring charges. Hence, there was no federal campaign violation. The judge refused to allow Brad Smith, former chairman of the FEC and federal campaign law expert, to testify for the defense as an expert witness, who would have fired a fatal legal torpedo into the DA's case. As he said on 3 different occasions, there was no federal election crime, which is precisely why the judge would not let the jury hear from him. So that's the state of where we're at. And we can only hope that somehow sanity prevails. And there's somebody on that jury that actually is there for the right reasons and actually listened and pay attention and has some common sense and not just straight TDS. And I guess we'll see here in the next couple of days.
Yeah, you can see that today. Straight TDS in the form of Robert De Niro.
Well, we know that. We've talked about that.
And the only witness that could have provided, to the jury how this was not a state-level crime, these 7510 charges, was Brad Smith, that the judge wouldn't allow.
Correct. And we know why he wouldn't allow it. All right, let's do some news. News is brought to you by our friends at 7 Sales, and here with that is Rick Delgado. What's going on?
All right. Well, since we are talking about the Trump trial, and I've mentioned little Bobby De Niro a couple times, let's just get it out of the way, shall we? Because he made his triumphant appearance downtown in New York City. This is cut number 12. As you can see him roll up to the proceedings in
with
front of the courthouse
with an
N95 mask on,
saving all the old ladies in New York. Oh,
yes.
Thank God! Oh, thank
goodness.
God!
Man, raging.
Look at him. Raging
bull
BS.
crap.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Look at he's like Biden. He doesn't know where to go. He's like,
Well,
where
of
am I
course
going?
not. He doesn't know.
Where am I going? Which way?
Yeah.
Who are you?
All right, so you guys are ready
Yeah.
for this act? Okay, you guys know your lines?
Right.
You guys know what
Right.
you're going to do? You guys going to stand there?
Right.
Okay,
So
just
there
like
they
Charles
are.
Grodin in Midnight Run. You do this, I do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
let me take my mask off so I don't look like a total jackwad.
I'm watching you, fucker.
That's right.
So anyhow, Robert De Niro showed up for this campaign event by the Biden campaign today in downtown New York City, just in front of the. Now he takes the mask off, so I guess he walked through the dangerous part of the city where all the chemicals and germs and COVID are. That now it's safe for him to take it off.
What an effing idiot.
I don't know if it's safe in that park. There's some dirty people.
So anyhow, then, of course, he decided to make his campaign speech, which is cut number 2. Here he is reading his scripted remarks. And, of course, he's an actor. He can't come up with anything on his own. So it needs to be written for him. Exactly. Here we go. Here's cut number 2. Check it out for yourself.
And elections, forget about it. That's over. That's done. If he gets in, I can tell you right now, he will never leave.
Oh, yeah.
I love this line. He will never leave.
Yeah.
You know that.
He
will never leave.
God, we say the same about you.
Is that the country we want to live in? Do we want him running this country and saying, I'm not leaving, I'm dictator for life?
I love the horn.
Never said that.
I hope this new ad campaign reaches outside the bubble to remind supporters of what a danger he is to our lives.
Sorry, Delgado. It's got to go.
Was that Harry's footage? Because Harry filmed it too with Ben today.
No, I got that off of.
No, it couldn't have been. We could see his face squared up in the
but here he is getting into it because, of course, this always works out for the best when you get into it with people in a crowd thinking you're going to get one over on them. Here's cut number 1 as Robert De Niro gets into a shouting match.
Democrats, you are gangsters. You are gangsters. You're washed up.
Working on his French, I see.
You're a nobody. Your movie.
You washed up actor.
Your movies suck. You're washed up.
Raging moron, more like it.
Yeah. So there you have it. A special appearance by Robert De Niro showing up downtown. It really didn't go well for him today. And, of course, Democrats are in full-blown freak-out mode. And that's actually the headline coming from Politico. I don't know if you saw that article. I saw it first thing this morning, and I was like, wait, let me read this. And then when I started reading the comments of people, which had exploded once this article came out, most of them were in agreement and basically bashing Biden. Let me read you some of this Political story. Dems in full-blown freakout over Biden. Trump's photo ops and PR stunts may get under the skin of some very serious D.C. people as compelling campaigning, but they still do nothing to win over the voters that will decide this election. That's according to Biden campaign spokesperson Kevin Munoz, who told Politico, the work we do every day on the ground and on the airwaves is in the battleground states and talk about how President Biden is fighting for the middle class against corporate greed. That's keeping prices high and highlight Donald Trump's anti-American campaign for revenge and retribution and abortion bans is the work that will secure us the White House again, he said. He did not remark on whether such a campaign is being run or run to his satisfaction. A lot can happen between now and then, according to Representative Ann Custer, Democrat from New Hampshire, who is retiring after the fall election. She, too, pointed to the eroding abortion rights as a problem, but Democratic critics on the campaign's approach, while agreeing that abortion should be a good issue, said they're challenged when pressed by friends to make the case for why Biden will win. There's still a path for us, they say. But they don't look like a campaign that's embarking on a path right now.
This is the Political story you're reading from?
Yeah.
Okay, I have it in front of me. You must be. I don't know where.
I think they re-edited this version and put it out because it's not exactly all the stuff that I read this morning.
No, it's nothing of what the original article says.
A perverse sense of fear has settled into the highest levels of the Democratic Party over Joe Biden's re-election prospects. Here's an earlier version I found.
Yeah, that's the one. A pervasive, because that's the key.
Right.
That's the key.
Even among office holders and strategists who have previously expressed confidence about the coming battle with Donald Trump all year, Democrats have been on a joyless and exhausting grind through the 2024 election, but now nearly 5 months before the election, anxiety has morphed into palatable trepidation, according to more than a dozen party leaders and operatives, and the gap between the what Democrats will say on TV and in print and what they'll text to their friends has only grown as worries have surged about Biden's prospects. He says you don't want to be the guy who's on record saying we're doomed or the campaign's bad or Biden's making mistakes. Nobody wants to be that guy, said a Democratic operative in close touch with the White House, granted anonymity to speak freely, but Biden's stubbornly poor polling and the stakes of the election are creating the freak out, he said. This isn't, oh my God, Mitt Romney might be president. It's, oh my God, the democracy might end. Despite everything, Trump is running ahead of Biden in most battleground states. He's raised more money in April, and the landscape may only be getting worse for Democrats, with Trump's hush money trial concluding, and another that is involving the president's son set to begin in Delaware. The concern has metastasized in recent days as Trump jaunted to some of the country's most liberal territories, including New Jersey and New York, to woo Hispanic and black voters, as he boasted improbably that he would win those areas. Donors ask me on an hourly basis what I think, an advisor said, calling it so much easier to show them, so while they read it, I can pour a drink. The list of why we could win is so small, I don't even need to keep it on my phone list anymore, the advisor said. And on the day that the news broke that Biden had trailed Trump in fundraising last month, Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey, did you read this part? This is insane. Raised the pressure of donors she introduced to the president to a crowd of 300. For those of you who've already opened your wallet, she said, thank you, but we'd like you to open them up a little bit more to find more patriots. More patriots that believe in this country, who recognize and understand the challenge presented at
New
this
England
time.
Patriots?
Yeah. Laughter rippled through the room, but Healey's voice turned serious. With the unusual urgency for Healey, the governor implored the room of high-dollar donors and Democratic leaders to think long and hard about the stakes of this election. Like I said, this is basically a freak out, and it happened in Politico, which kind of gets your attention because they're all about running interference for their guy.
Yeah, I feel like a couple times a year you get something from Politico that you go, oh, this guy's going to get fired tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one last quick story. I'll follow up on a story I did last week that you didn't believe, but American Airlines is now fired. American Airlines has fired the attorneys who said the 9-year-old girl should have known she was being recorded in the bathroom. It's about time. American Airlines has new attorneys after previous lawyers said the 9-year-old should have realized she was recorded in the bathroom by a flight attendant. The airline is facing several lawsuits from criminal charges against Estes Carter Thompson, a former flight attendant, accused of filming underage girls by taping his phone to the bathroom toilet seat. Police arrested Thompson. The 14-year-old girl noticed a phone with its camera flashlight turned on in the bathroom and the light from a North Carolina to New York flight in September of 2023. He's facing federal charges of attempted sexual exploitation of children and possession of images of child sexual abuse. So finally, I guess the people at American Airlines have been cleared to take off and gave the boot to their previous attorneys who made that insane filing blaming the 9-year-old.
All right, live from Studio 6B, back. David Zier coming up right after this.
let's see here.
I don't see anything on what has happened.
Yeah, I got the latest on it right here.
Gives you.
Let's see.
You finally got it on out of the bubble wrap.
Look, you got a unicorn. Whoa.
A lot of writing.
From what I'm seeing, court rules him tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the jury instructions.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I thought. He's doing the jury instructions tomorrow. Starts the day with it. 10 a.m.?
10 a.m.
Trump's going to speak at 9:20, 9:30. So I have it all figured out. So I'm always the last one in the courtroom. And I hang out before the sweep because you get frozen. So if you get frozen at the right spot, you can sit in the hallway for Trump's speech every morning. So I've caught his speech every day so I can report on it because I'm not in that press pool that is assigned just for his morning speech or his break. After he takes a break, he speaks too. So I always get it. And then I always get the last seat in the back on the aisle in the courtroom. So the whole Trump team said hello today, which was nice. And Trump gave me a thumbs up today on the way out.
You gonna watch?
Yeah. Let me see. I'll do a reveal. Trump gave you a wink today?
Give me a thumbs up.
Did he?
No speech today. He just left.
Nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
Appreciates all you're doing, I'm sure.
Well, they reposted that Bronx video.
Good people.
He retruthed it.
Live from Studio 6B, 13 till the hour. Troy Nels, congressman, said, should this compromised judge and jury find Trump guilty of committing no crime, I would encourage Judge Merchan, who has broad discretion, to withhold sentencing. As we all know, this will be overturned on appeal. This has never happened in the history of our country. It's a very dangerous game to play. And I suspect we won't have to wait too long to see after he gives the instructions. So it looks like he's going to give the instructions tomorrow morning at 10 to the jury.
Yeah.
And then send them on their way. Figuring that'll probably be after lunch. So by 1 o'clock or so, I would say tomorrow, the jury will have this in their hand.
Yep.
And it wouldn't shock me. Do you think we'll get something tomorrow? By the close of business?
Well,
tomorrow being Wednesday, you know for sure by Friday they want to be out of here. And
I think they want to get out of there.
I think they want to get out of there.
But a quick decision could be bad news.
Or it could be good news.
You know,
yes, it could.
It's a slip.
Yes, it could, gentlemen.
What is yin and yang over here?
It's a slippery slope. You know, they could go after Barack for droning a U.S. citizen in Yemen if they're going to do this to Trump, right?
Well, they would never do that.
They won't touch it.
But it opens it up for any past president to be prosecuted.
Well, that's still before
the Supreme Court still has that.
Yeah. Well,
so, but I think what's interesting is I wonder if they deliver a not guilty verdict, the judge does have the option to set aside that verdict and rule on his own.
I don't think he would do that.
You know what? There's a lot of things that we didn't think a judge would do. This guy is doing them all. I wouldn't be surprised one bit if it came back hung jury or acquitted, and all of a sudden he sets aside their verdict, whatever claim that he might make that they didn't understand what they were doing, and that he's going to render a verdict. I'm hand to God, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, it's happened before.
If I woke up tomorrow with my head stapled to the carpet, I wouldn't be surprised after everything we've seen, right?
Exactly.
All right, well, that's a good lead-in. Let's do some news with head stapled to the carpet. David Zier. Mr. Zier, host of Breaking Point, 8 a.m. right here on Real America's Voice. What's going on in your world?
Well, it's been a whirlwind as subway riders are lit on fire on the one train in New York City. They're dedicating hundreds of cops to protect the courts in Donald Trump trial. Trump gave me a thumbs up in court today for Rav, which was very cool. He looked good. And I was covering the Libertarian convention this weekend at the Washington Hilton. I was there for the Trump speech and listened to all these people. I have a couple of clips. Before I get to that, Jason Miller texted me yesterday. He's a senior campaign advisor for Trump. And, he's like, listen, Trump goes into the bright blue Bronx, another political party's convention. A week before that, he goes to bright blue Minnesota. And before that, he stops at Teamsters headquarters and SneakerCon and even a town hall on CNN during the Republican primary. Trump is inside the head of Biden. He is inside places that you would consider Joe Biden's political territory, and he's right on the money. And by the way, the Bronx rally, two people were killed a few hours after we left the Bronx rally, about half a mile to a mile away, just north of us. But then a mile south of us is where that woman was dragged through the street with a belt around her neck and assaulted, right? 8 to 10 o'clock at night. I don't even think it was that late. It happened again in Woodlawn, Bronx. A guy snuck up behind a woman, grabbed her, put her in a headlock, and was dragging her. And neighbors saw it, and they came out, and they tackled the guy, I believe. I don't know if he was caught. I don't know the full story. But that's what's going on. So Washington Hilton, you would think the Libertarians, right, you have a lot in common that vivisects with Trump, right? We've got economic liberty, a good economy. You've got, security, securing liberty. It's part of the Libertarian platform. And you've got, individual rights, the weaponization of the government against Trump. You'd think they would gravitate to Trump. Well, about 30% of them were MAGA. About 60% of them were libertarians, in the crowd. And they were very rude. There were some Rav viewers that were libertarians who were wonderful. I have a couple of interviews. I'll play one of them now. But what was going on was they were asking, Raheem Kassam came running up to me when they were sitting down because all the MAGA people came in. Trump gets enormous amount of people everywhere he goes. And this is the Libertarian convention. They were still inside taking votes. And they came in and all the Trump people filled up the first 10 rows. The Libertarian people who don't believe in forcing their will on other people to create laws. And the new nominee supports an open border, by the way. And an LGBTQ agenda, they asked the Trump people to get up out of their seats and leave and move, which I thought was extraordinary. That was crazy. But there were a lot of nice people. But Trump, in the middle of the speech, 3/4 in, takes the balloon at the pin and pops the balloon because they were booing him nonstop since he started. And he says, I'm going to free Ross Ulbricht. Everyone had a free Ross sign in the room. He's the guy who created the Silk Road, dark web, narcotics and human trafficking, all stuff going on there. He gets 2 life sentences plus 40 years. They're all about freeing him and Julian Assange and everything. So Trump says he's going to free Ross Ulbricht. He's going to commute his sentence, and he's going to give the Libertarians a seat in the cabinet, and he's going to make a senior White House official, a top official, a Libertarian. And it's like, what the hell more could you want from a candidate? You can't be pragmatic at all. So he took the air out of the room. It was like a vacuum. Only the way Trump can do, which I thought was absolutely incredible. I want to play just 2-minute clip. Ford Fisher, cut 6, Ford Fisher from the Libertarian Convention. He's a journalist on the ground, does a lot of footage for Rav. He's in the mix with Antifa all the time. It's 2 minutes. We're at the Washington Hilton, the Libertarian National Convention. We got the great Ford Fisher from News to Share, filming some of the great events going on across our country. And it was great working with you in the Bronx the other day. How are you?
Doing quite well. Pretty tired. It's been 3 events in a row, 2 days of Libertarian Convention and then covering the event at the Bronx.
No doubt. So the Libertarian Convention, there's nominees. One is going to be selected tomorrow, right?
Yeah, so they've adjourned for the day for the Trump speech, and they don't yet have a nominee, which means they will be finding out, presumably, who their nominee is.
They're starting to stream in the room, right? You got a lot of people who are MAGA who signed up to come to the event up front, but there was a meeting inside, right? From 4 to... Yeah.
Right, so Trump supporters have been kind of siphoning in already, whereas the meeting just adjourned, so the Libertarians are kind of joining in now. It'll be interesting to kind of see how the crowd ends up meshing sort of both sides together, because most of the Libertarian conference over the last 2 days has taken a pretty critical of Trump approach. You know, some of them like Trump for certain specific issues, but for the most part, they want to support their own nominee, and they would consider themselves to be largely anti-Trump or critical of Trump. Of course, though, this is a room with a lot of Trump supporters in it, so...
Yeah, well, the Cato Institute was critical, saying you shouldn't be inviting the presidential candidates here. They should only be hearing from Libertarian candidates. Is there any of that dissension that you've seen?
Yeah, so there's been kind of two sides within the party. Whereas the party is mostly not fond of Trump necessarily, there's sort of a split between those who think it's a good idea to invite candidates from other parties and those who don't. On the one hand, the argument that I've heard is, well, the other candidates, they don't invite us to their conventions. When would a Libertarian get to speak at the RNC? When would RFK have, engaged in a sort of a similar way? RFK did speak last night.
So he got a pretty good response,
We could
get
out of that. He got a fairly good response.
I just wanted to point out, so Michael Rechtenwald won the straw poll, and he used to be, an extreme leftist, and he's come around, and he's, for conservative economics now. He won the straw poll, but they still nominated Chase Oliver, who supports drag shows. He supports in front of children. I mean, and he's for a totally open border. This is the nominee for the Libertarian Party this year. They're making a big mistake.
All right, more from David Zier, Slick Rick Sports, all coming up. Live from Studio 6B right after this on a Tuesday night.
Right, we are live and we're on all the socials, right?
Yeah. Got Gail Cogdale's first place watch at a NBA NFL charity golf event. His daughter sent it to me. Nice.
Oh, you didn't even show it off.
I'm going to show it. I'll talk about it when I do my segment.
Well, show it to the people that are watching now. Give them a little preview.
Old watch. His daughter, Kristen, 8915, sent me that. NBA, NFL, charity golf challenge. Yeah. Oh, it had to be numbered.
You get a Rav golf challenge watch. That'd be fun.
Got autograph too.
Doesn't tell time.
That's pretty cool.
Not on my watch.
Robert Chinchilla said, Zier, ask Slick to please come on our chat on YouTube.
Yeah.
On the YouTube.
Oh, the YouTube. Who is it?
Go
what is
to
it?
the YouTube. On the YouTubes.
What do they have? Yeah. What is it? Oh, it's on the. I like
I'm on
YouTube.
the Twixers now.
I don't get on the YouTube.
Hello, Twixers.
I should go on.
Howdy, Twixers.
I'm hanging in with the old getter, folks. Still there. Can only do so much live show.
One minute. Top of the hour? Oh, I didn't tell you. I almost set my house on fire.
Oh, really? Doesn't surprise
Tell me when I'm supposed to act surprised.
Right? Well, were you a flamethrower?
With my flamethrower.
Yeah.
Tell me when I should be surprised.
Living with you is torture.
You know what? And it wasn't even it wasn't even really my fault, because I told Kate, I'm like, look, after I go past this section here, make sure you douse the area with the water from the hose.
Sounds like a
just
good
in
plan.
case any embers.
What was your living room carpet?
No, it wasn't in the house, jackass. It was. I was.
You never know with you.
It was with the mulch. With the mulch is dry.
The mulch.
The mulch. So you want to make sure that you douse it afterwards because there were weeds coming up through the mulch. So I want to make sure I got those weeds.
Oh my God!
And she didn't do that. She misunderstood what I said.
That's amazing. That could happen.
I know I'm around.
Somebody misunderstood what you said.
I'm around.
Live from studio. It's hour 2 already?
Yeah.
Live from Studio 6B, hour 2. Holy Moses, that was fast. 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Well, see, in the commercial break, we got the truth. See, now, we've been saying this all along, that this was going to happen, and now we know. If you're following us in the commercial break on Facebook and YouTube and Kick and X, LFS6B, at LFS6B, we now know that, just as we said, it almost happened.
It almost happened.
It almost happened, which we warned of when you got this stupid fire thrower.
Right.
That you were going to set your house on fire, and you almost did this
I almost did, yes. I forgot that part because
oh, sure you did.
I was excited about the other things that we did over the weekend. It was Memorial Day.
Mm-hmm.
And because when you're flame throwing and you're killing all those bad weeds, you want to make sure, because you don't want to pull, because sometimes there's some poison ivy, and I've gotten poison ivy before, it sucks. So there was some stuff sticking out of the mulch. Now you got to kill the stuff in the mulch, but sometimes the mulch is very dry and it might catch fire. So I told Kate to make sure you douse where I just, flame-throwed. I think that's a word. And make sure that, nothing catches. I don't think she understood what I said.
Because she was looking for a can of gasoline.
Why are you standing behind me with a can of gas? Yeah.
Right. So as I moved around the house, to get the rest of all the other weeds, I assumed that she was going to douse the area I was at, and she doused the bushes, but she didn't douse the mulch.
Right.
Now the mulch was up against the air conditioning unit, the big fan unit that's outside. Well, by the time we got around the house and I was finishing, this is about a half hour, we come back and oh boy, there's a lot of smoke. She's like, oh my God, get over here. I go running over and it's just a plume of smoke shooting up out of the house. Now I'm thinking, oh my God, is this getting sucked into the house? Because that would be terrible, having smoke all through the house, through the AC unit, but that didn't happen.
So did the mulch catch?
The mulch caught, but it was on the outside of the AC unit, so the air that was being sucked up was being shot straight up by the huge fan. It wasn't going in the house, luckily. And and luckily, I took it upon myself to douse not only the entire area, but the AC unit as well, just to make sure that there was no other chance.
You know what the real takeaway from this story is? That
that I'm a good time.
We're not the only ones who don't understand what the hell Delgado's talking about.
Exactly.
What do you mean?
Right, Slick?
Thankfully,
it's easy.
That's
Kate,
the takeaway here.
Kate wasn't the perfect match.
I'm looking up weed torch fires. I don't see anything.
That's the takeaway. There we go. All right, hour 2, 3 minutes past the hour.
Only on 6B.
What?
KC58 in the X chat says, my husband brought the leaf blower in the house to dust. Needless to say, it made a freaking
I like that.
mess.
That's a good idea. That's a lot quicker, man.
That is hilarious.
Open up the sliding glass door and just blow it all towards that. I like that.
Oh, man.
That's hilarious.
Man.
That's good. All right, very good. We'll do some more news with Delgado. David Zier's got some more coming up as well. Well, let's get to sports since we didn't get to it in the last segment. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell and MyPillow. LFS6B is the code to use. Great savings at Lindell stuff. Of course, he's got great stuff. LFS6B is your promo code to use at checkout. 50%, sometimes up towards of 60% off whatever you put in your cart. Plus, we'll give you our shirt of the month absolutely free. Just send your receipts into LFS6B at yahoo.com showing that you used LFS6B at checkout, and we'll send you the shirt of the month absolutely free. Slick Rick, what's going on?
All right, Big D. Well, let's get right to the scoreboard. NBA action. We got Western Conference Finals, first quarter, just about the end of the first quarter, and the Timberwolves right now are leading the Mavericks 27-19, trying to extend their season as the Dallas Mavericks lead the series 3-0. They're down in American Airlines Arena, and they're looking to close it out, so we'll keep track of that. And the Rangers light the lamp first. They lead the Panthers 1-0. Vincent Trocheck with a first-period goal. They're in the first intermission, so Rangers also looking to take a commanding 3-1 lead if they can win tonight on the road down in Florida in the Ammirati Bank Arena, Eastern Conference Final as well. And this will be to see who takes on the winner of the Dallas Stars Edmonton Oilers. Dallas Stars going up 2-1 last night with a big win on the road. So getting down to the end, almost finals. Big D, next week we finals in sports. So really fantastic. And some sad news in the golf world, and a lot of folks are talking about this. Pro golfer Grayson Murray's death, a cause of death revealed. This is Warner Todd Houston of Breitbart. The cause of death for pro golfer Grayson Murray, who was found dead in his home on Saturday, has been announced. Murray was found dead in his Palm Beach Gardens, Florida home on Saturday, the day after he withdrew from the Charles Schwab Challenge in Fort Worth, Texas. He was only 30 years old. Police in Florida are now saying that the golfer died from carbon monoxide poisoning after pumping the deadly fumes into his home from the tailpipe of his Land Rover, according to the Daily Mail. Officials say that a neighbor called the police after hearing the noise from a carbon monoxide alarm ringing off for an extended period. Police arrived at the residence just before 11 a.m. on Saturday. The golfer, who had been open about his struggles with mental health, was reportedly found lying dead in the bedroom. The troubled athlete's parents confirmed on Sunday that their son had taken his own life. We have spent the last 24 hours trying to come to terms with the fact that our son is gone. It's surreal that we not only have to admit it to ourselves, but that we also have to acknowledge it to the world. It's a nightmare, Murray's parents said in a statement posted by the PGA Tour. We have so many questions that have no answers, but one was Grayson was loved. The answer is yes, by us, his brother Cameron, his sister Erica, all of his extended family, by his friends, by his fellow players, and it seems by many of you who are reading this. We'd like to thank the PGA Tour and the entire world of golf for the outpouring of support. Life wasn't always easy for Grayson, and although he took his own life, we know he rests peacefully now. So just a terrible story with this young man. But, big deal. We talk about this on the show all the time. Mental illness is real. It's serious. And, people don't get the right kind of help and have the right kind of, in the right kind of circumstance. A fellow like this, he was one of the top 60 pros in the world, right? I think 58th in the world. And he had a great future ahead of him. In fact, I think he shot a 68 or 67. He had a decent day of golf in Fort Worth, Texas. And,
He's won before too, by the way.
Yes, so I think he won twice.
Not that he was. Right. A lot of the guys get out there and they struggle with the golf part and they can't make ends meet because they're paying their travel, they're paying their caddies, and they're not making any money. But this guy was successful.
Exactly.
He had played well, done well, and it just shows you none of that matters, and the money doesn't matter, and none of that matters when you're in a place where this kid unfortunately was, and just nothing was gonna. Just a horrific story.
Just a sad story.
As sad as it could be.
Yeah, a little bit of a health scare over the weekend for one Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson reveals health status after medical scare. Dylan Gwynn of Breitbart. For those thinking that Mike Tyson's health scare would somehow derail the big party in Big D's backyard on July 12th, his much anticipated matchup against YouTuber Jake Paul in July, those fears appear to be unwarranted.
That's right.
A day after news that the former heavyweight champion had suffered a medical scare on his flight to Los Angeles, Tyson took to X Tuesday afternoon to let everyone know that he is just fine, not that he needs to, he said. Now feeling 100%, even though I don't need to beat Jake Paul, the 57-year-old posted on X. According to his representatives, the boxer had an ulcer flare-up, the New York Post reported. Thankfully, Mr. Tyson is doing great. Tyson's representative said he became nauseous and dizzy due to an ulcer flare-up 30 minutes before landing. He is appreciative to the medical staff that were there to help him. Several reports of passengers asking for medical assistance from the former champ added to concerns on Monday as reports of the incident circulated on the internet. Tyson, 57, is set to fight Jake Paul at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas on July 20th. Paul, who is 7-1 as a pro, accused the media of playing up Tyson's health scare to stir drama. You love to make bleep up before knowing the facts for clicks, likes, etc. The YouTuber has been very descriptive when it comes to what he plans to do to the former champion. But what I promised to the people on July 20th, Mike Tyson will be put to sleep, he said. So he's talking big stuff there. And it sounds like Mike Tyson got a gut punch from his ulcer, but he's going to be back ready to go. And I hope he has has gap coverage in its insurance. And that's a wrap in sports. Big D, back to you.
Okay, okay, very good. So the big party at Big D's is still on.
Yeah, July 20th.
Okay, very good. The dancing girls are still ordered with the sequins to match whatever you're going to be wearing.
He's going to bring Nachos Delgado.
We got Nachos Delgado with the weed whacker thing coming. We're going to torch up everything at my house.
I'm going to bring a nice big tall bottle of Don
I'll be following you around with a hose.
Right?
And then we'll find out that Damon moved the day before and nobody.
Yeah. No. What are you going to bring, Slick?
I'll bring a nice bottle of Don Julio, man.
Okay, I like that. I'll make some. I have a great recipe for
Nachos Delgado.
For those margaritas. So, man, come on. Delgado, what are you bringing? Don't say your weed torch because you won't be allowed in.
I don't know. I'm bringing me.
Oh, great.
I don't know what I'm bringing. I was going to bring some Sammy Hagar's Cabo Wabo, but this jackass is bringing...
he's going to bring some rum cakes.
Some what?
Never mind.
Delgado, I just got
crumb cakes.
David Zier, what are you bringing to the big party for the big fight?
He's bringing Big Zier.
Anything you want. I'm making my famous Thai
chicken. Do you want to come over and cook?
Sure.
His famous meatball.
Look at
famous meatballs.
We'll be live streaming this?
We could do that.
No, I mean, I'm telling you, we'll be live streaming it.
And when are you doing that?
What's the
July
date?
20th.
July 20th.
Saturday night.
My house.
We've got the Republican convention that week. What time? What day is that? That should be only the 18th, right? I think.
Well, this is a Saturday night.
I guess he's not going to make it.
I guess there's out because of politics.
No. I think it ends on the...
That's probably more important.
It ends on the 18th. So.
You'll be back in town.
All right, big party then on the 20th.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Live streaming.
All right, very good, Slick.
That's a wrap.
Let's do some news with Rick Delgado. The news is brought to you by 7 Cells. What's going on, Delgado?
Hey, remember how I told you that the Ohio was having a problem with the DNC and the ballot and the Biden getting on the ballot and he might not be on the ballot and then the governor wanted a special session to make sure he gets on the ballot? Well, the DNC, according to John Solomon's Just the News, seems to have solved that problem as they plan to nominate Biden virtually before the convention amid the Ohio ballot drama. So there you have it. The Democratic National Committee plans to nominate President Joe Biden virtually before the party convention amid the Ohio state legislature's deadlock over a bill that would allow him to appear on the November ballot. The DNC, where the party usually chooses its nominee, is scheduled for August 19th to the 22nd. However, Ohio's deadline for political parties to certify their nominee is 90 days before the general election, which is August 7th.
You guys are just dead. You guys are dead in the water. This is bad news for all you guys.
No.
Not
What do you mean,
anymore,
no?
Nah, false alarm.
It's not false alarm.
It's like a
He's going to be nominated. All the delegates
He's not
are going to
be nominated.
Oh, you guys are
False alarms.
You guys are dead.
No.
You guys are dead.
Come on.
Come on. You guys are torching your own story here. Think about what you're saying.
What? This is just the DNC trying to figure out a way to get him on the ballot.
Yeah.
Anyhow, they announced they'll do a virtual roll call, which will be held by the party to ensure that Biden is on the ballot in all 50 states.
Sure.
Joe Biden will be on the ballot in Ohio and all 50 states, and the Ohio Republicans agree, Harrison said, but when the time has come for action, they have failed to act every time, so Democrats will land the plane on their own. Well, good. You guys figure it out. You effed it up, not us, so go figure it out for yourself.
So you think they're going to go through all this? I don't even know if this is legal. I'm assuming it is, but who knows, given them, that they're going to nominate Biden to get on Ohio, and then they're going to take him off, and then the new person's not going to be on Ohio?
Unless that new person is... Well, look, it's the DNC. They make up their own... Bring
it home, baby. Victory number 1 of many this year.
They make up their own rules anyway.
And
so
John Solomon.
I'm sure. And I don't even... Can they even rely on Kamala?
Sound like
They're not running that thing. Stop.
Well, who nervous, boys?
Who could they possibly run?
People refer to you as UAR.
What's that mean?
Ugly American Radio, I assume. Right?
13.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your name.
They tell you do UAR this and that. It's pretty interesting. You become an acronym, Delgado. Think about that.
You're an acronym. Your mother's an acronym. Oh.
Rick, are you wearing a Speedo to the party? Delgado, that's what
Me?
That's
I
what
don't
they're
have.
asking.
Big D, do you have sling?
This is the guy with silk pajamas and silk fucking.
He's gonna wear a sling TV.
I don't wear a Speedo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're asking in the chat.
Banana hammocks
I'm just asking you. Don't shoot the messenger.
It's not going to be me.
with a banana daiquiri.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably this one. He probably has a thong he's got picked out for me already.
Yeah. Okay.
Delgado identifies as a Martian.
It's funny. It's stupid, but it's funny.
I don't like the month of March.
Oh man. No, it's too funny. That is too funny.
Sequin Speedo, Chevelle Yvonne says.
Where else are we on? Let's see.
I heard something about Oprah and Michelle Obama forming some sort of political party.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's going to be
dumbass party. That's what it's going to be called.
a convention. I know those two are going to get together. Those two, the evil twins.
They're going to get together.
They've been together for years.
Really? Yeah. Oh, boy. Okra.
She launched her book.
Big D's going to wear silk jammies like Hugh Hefner. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
Give
I
me
can
my
see
cigar and
I can see that.
that'd be good.
That'd be a live stream to end all live streams. That one. Oh my God.
Why are you laughing, Aaron? You're coming.
She's like, I'm
Fran, are
busy
you
that
coming?
day.
Yeah.
Only if you're the REITs here.
You got a sock drawer to organize.
God damn it.
Damon's gonna be walking around his yard like Ron Burgundy with his open robe.
Yeah,
Like, hey,
Birch Gold,
ladies,
the
how are you?
Play the piccolo.
Oh my goodness!
Rich Gold and Wellness. Got it.
Whoa, sound like God damn.
That's a 3-point game now in Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, it's like last night. You threw
Damon,
it in
what's
the-
your favorite cigar?
Indiana looked like they were gonna
Ooh.
win, right? At the end, and then they just
Where
fell
do I
apart.
start?
Same thing's going to happen here tonight.
Well, let me talk to you about our friends at Birch Gold. Sounds like the blues. Can your savings weather an economic storm? Do you even have savings under Biden? How's that possible? How do you even have savings under Biden? Think about what you've put away for the future if you've been lucky enough to put away for the future. Inflation is rendering your cash worthless right now. Real estate can crash like back in 2008. Economies built on a mountain of debt like this one can fall like a house of cards. There are very few physical assets you can invest in that can stand the test of time. Well, one of them is gold. Gold has withstood as a valued form of money for a millennia. It's why people are flocking to it now and why Birch Gold is busier than ever. Through a little-known tax loophole, Birch Gold lets you convert a retirement account into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. And the best part is it doesn't cost you a penny out of pocket. To learn more, text America to 989898 and claim your free information kit on gold. Let me ask you again, can your IRA or 401k weather an economic storm? If not, call the people that Rav trust, and that, of course, is Birch Gold. Text America to 989898 and secure your savings today. All right, let me talk to you about the Wellness Company. You know, everybody knows the next medical crisis is just around the corner. Whether it comes in the form of a pandemic or something much more mundane like a tick bite, you and your family need to be prepared. That's where the Wellness Company comes in. You know the Wellness Company. Dr. Peter McCulley has been on the show. The Wellness Company and their doctors, they're medical professionals that you can trust. There's not many of those these days. And their new medical emergency kits are the gold standard when it comes to keeping you and your family safe and healthy. Be ready for anything. This medical emergency kit contains an assortment of life-saving medications, including ivermectin and Z-Pak. The medical emergency kit provides a guidebook as well to aid in the safe use of all these life-saving medications. So from anthrax to tick bites to COVID to even to a bioweapon like the plague, the wellness company's medical emergency kit is exactly what you need to have on hand if you want to be prepared. Rest assured knowing you have emergency antibiotics, antivirals, antiparasitics, all of them on hand to help keep you and your family safe from whatever the globalists throw at you next. Go to www.twc.health/voice. That's www.twc.health/voice and order today. Use promo code VOICE to save an additional 10%. All right, live from Studio 6B, 19 past the hour. What were we doing? Sport? Are we doing news?
Yeah, we were.
All right, we're doing news with Delgado. News is brought to you by 7 Cells. What's going on, Delgado?
All right. Well, I don't know if you caught this over the weekend as Pete Buttigieg decided to make an appearance on CBS on Face the Nation with Margaret Brennan, talking about a range of things, but mostly getting a lot of pushback and a lot of slamming on the EV mandates and how things are going with the infrastructure for EVs.
Did you say a lot of pushback?
A lot of pushback.
And he was on Face the Nation?
Well, getting any pushback on Face the Nation is one thing. Mainly the pushback came online. I don't know if you caught some of the stuff online. But here's a clip of Pete Buttigieg. I believe this is clip number 11, where he talks about President Trump slamming Biden's insane electric vehicle mandate. And Margaret Brennan actually does push back a little bit. Check this out.
Donald Trump repeatedly talks about President Biden's decision to force the industry towards making 56% of car batteries electric by 2032, 13% hybrid. Listen to what he said in New Jersey recently.
Do you notice he's trying to save the electrical vehicle, but not the gas-powered, which is the vehicle that everybody wants. They're going crazy with the electric car, costing us a fortune. We're spending hundreds of billions of dollars subsidizing a car that nobody wants and nobody's ever going to buy.
He's not wrong. On the purchasing. He's not. Of the 4 million vehicles purchased, 269,000 electric vehicles were sold in the U.S. market. It's up like 2%.
Every single year, more Americans buy EVs than the year. Well, this is really important.
More quickly.
Every single year, more Americans buy EVs than the year prior.
Yeah, it's, again, a little bit of pushback there from someplace he probably thought was very safe to come. And then,
But where was the pushback?
The host saying he's not wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the numbers are the numbers. I mean, that's hardly I mean, in my estimation, that's not really pushback.
Well, remember when Nancy Pelosi said, Trump was right about something? She's like, well, you can be an apologist for him. But you're starting to see that a little bit more, I think. I thought it was an interesting piece.
Rick, did you see the new British study that says the casualty rate for pedestrians is more than double with electric cars over gas-powered vehicles?
No.
Yeah, people can't hear them coming. Twice the death rate.
Interesting. Well, there's another clip here from Pete Buttigieg, of course, talking to CBS, and here he talks about why there are only seven charging stations so far created with the billions of dollars spent to create charging stations. Check this out.
The Federal Highway Administration says only 7 or 8 charging stations have been produced with a $7.5 billion investment that taxpayers made back in 2021. Why isn't that happening more quickly?
So the president's goal is to have 500,000 chargers up by the end of this decade. Now, in order to do a charger, it's more than just plunking a small device into the ground. There's utility work, and this is also really a new category of federal investment. But we've been working with each of the 50 states. Every one of them is getting formula dollars to do this work, engaging them in the first handful. Again, by 2030, 500,000 chargers. And the very first handful of chargers are now already being physically built.
So 400. Yeah. Why didn't she just say, okay, we've done 7 or 8, and we're going to do 500,000 by the end of the decade? So that's when does this pick up?
Yeah.
When exactly does this pick up, and how and when? These 7 or 8 have taken how long? And all of a sudden, we're supposed to think we're going to get 500,000. There's not. I mean, going back to the first part, What do we need all these charging stations for when no one wants to buy the cars and the car companies are getting their ass handed to them and making them?
In Iowa, in 20 degrees, you lose 20% power. And if you turn the heat on, you lose 40% of your mileage at 20 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, and depending on the speed, depends on how quickly you go through that quote-unquote charge. So you might not be getting the 260 or 270 miles per charge that you think you're getting. So just a little interesting. I guess when you look at the money that's being wasted on something that people didn't ask for, people didn't want. It's like it's a fun little thing. You can get them for around for run around town here and there, but unless you have the infrastructure and the demand in the market. See, this is what Marxism is, right? It's the government taking control of a segment of corporate America, saying, okay, we're going to force this upon you. You're going to love this. Meanwhile, there's no demand for it. It's like trying to force somebody to buy David Zier's ties. Maybe David Zier doesn't make good ties, but it doesn't matter because we're going to force you to buy David Zier's ties. Nobody else's ties are going to be sold.
Well, it's like cafe standards, right? It's like look what they've done to the car industry already. Look what all of these departments, as I've argued for years, whatever their name is actually the anti-whatever. The Department of Education has zero to do with their anti-education. The Department of Transportation is anti-transportation. The EPA is against the environment. I mean, everything is the opposite of what the name of the outfit over there that they're running says. That's true across the board.
Yeah.
The people didn't elect any of these people. They don't want any of these people. They don't want any of these things. They do nothing but, like you said, it's just all Marxism dressed up as somehow pan the today so we can sell you the future. It's just a joke.
Yeah. And it's just amazing. It's also happening in your appliances. You notice your dryers, your washers, they don't last 25, 50 years like they used to.
No, like 7.
And again, it's all because of these standards that they put in place that forces these things. Too many gadgets, too many rules and stuff about what they can and can't use, and you're left with inferior products.
All right, more live from Studio 6B coming up. David Zier's got some news as well, and then some thoughts on what President Trump does if he's found guilty.
Left at like noon. I'm there. Ben's there. Andrew Giuliani's there. I have a hit at 8 o'clock, and Ben has a hit at 9 o'clock. Then they got War Room. Then we might have Jack Poso, AVL, Miranda Khan Special Report, maybe News Not Noise, and maybe War Room. I'll do like 2 or 3 of them. But, we're not really sure what's going to happen tomorrow, so. But Trump will have an entourage, so they come out and do press conferences. Like Junior came out and did one today. So did Jason Miller.
Yep.
So I don't think it's wise that they do that, though, because there's so many animals down there, and they're just like yelling over, like Don Jr. They were saying the most nasty things to Don Jr. today. It's like horrible. Why do they subject themselves to that? It's ridiculous.
Your presentation.
No, I'm going to do it now.
we got 2 segments.
Yeah. I figured this is the long segment, so we got to be here.
Richard Nelson says, Damon saw you in the Rav commercial looking good. What? This the one you told me about, David?
What's that?
I have no idea what this is.
Confused with Bannon.
What are you talking about?
Someone said they saw me in a Rav commercial. I'm shocked
Bannon.
because this show doesn't make anything in any Rav.
Yeah,
well, maybe you tuned them up.
At the end of News Not Noise, I did a hit, and you were on in between.
God, you're kidding.
Like, come on,
quarter
Big
to
D.
6
You're a
Eastern
star.
time hit.
I hope you're saying something good.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
It was good. I was quick.
What are we doing here? I think that's what he said in there, right? That was what are we doing here?
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday night, 9:30 on the East Coast. Big D shows up in a commercial, but you have to really be looking for him. Okay, people tell me about some new commercial that's running that I guess I'm in.
Oh, boy.
I have no idea what it is or how it was made. No one asked me. Wonder what the sound clip they used is. I guess I'll have to look for this.
Are you on some Ozempic commercial or something?
Viagra.
Yeah, no, neither one of those.
No.
All right, well, I'll keep a lookout for it. So let's do some news with the host of Breaking Point, 8 a.m. right here, Saturday mornings on Real America Voice. And, of course, he's covering the Trump trial as he did today, and he will be tomorrow morning. Harry on the highway is going to be in there as well. Harry just stays in the city, doesn't even come home.
Yeah, well, come on.
Harry's like, just get me over at the Four Seasons. I'll be fine, and I'll stay out there all week. Why not? So,
It's Harry on the Hudson.
Yeah,
Harry on the Hudson.
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost.
That, of course, is David Zier. What's going on?
So Trump is unafraid. He goes into all of these places. And it's pretty exceptional. The Libertarians, we can't figure them out. So, someone from the Trump campaign texted me and said, they even booed Patrick Henry because Trump said, give me liberty, give me death. And they booed Trump. And even when he said he'd have a libertarian in the cabinet. And then even when Trump not only says he's going to free and commute the sentence of Ross Ulbricht and talks about Julian Assange, and then he says, I'm against the central bank digital currency. What is going to be enough for them to be pragmatic and get on board?
Well, nothing's going to be because they like Dave Smith says, and all the newspapers reported that next morning. None of them like him. But
Dave Smith was great, and he said, be respectful and everything. I thought it was.
Then he went on to trash him.
But listen, Gary Johnson, who really wasn't a libertarian, I don't think, and he was all about legalizing weed. He got 4.5 million votes in 2016. It was a big chunk. Trump could use that 3% plus. Jo Jorgensen, a female who ran in 2020, only got 1.5% because she wasn't as big on that weed issue.
Right, and this lunatic's going to get 1/10 of all of them.
Right, so I think they're self-destructive, but I met so many nice people there as well, and RAV viewers on the Libertarian side. I'll play some of those interviews during the week. I wanted to play one interview from the Bronx rally. Eddie, I think his name is, from the Bronx, and he is cut number 4. Eddie from the Bronx, sick of the crime, sick of what's going on. We have Eddie from the Bronx over here. South Bronx. We're in the South Bronx, right?
Yes, sir.
Trump's visit to the South Bronx today, about 5 hours out, lines starting to form, thousands of people coming out. Why did you think it was important to come out, being that you're from the Bronx?
Basically, the Democrats destroyed my city, and we need somebody that is going to hear the people's voice, and Trump's the people's voice. It's not about Republican or Democrat.
So are you in this part of the South Bronx? Where you from?
Right down the block, Hunts Point.
So, Hunts Point, right?
Yeah.
So, this precinct, the 42nd precinct, had about a 40% increase in felony assaults and burglary and robbery just since January here. Do you see things getting worse?
Oh, absolutely. That's because the governor, Kathy Hatchell, and Eric Adams, the mayor, they promote the violence and the lawlessness in our city, and that's what's pretty much what's going on right now, and we're sick of it. Yeah. So Trump definitely got the Latinos and black votes for sure.
So Biden won by 68% in 2020 in the Bronx.
That's a lie.
You think
they stole that?
Wow.
Yeah, they stole that. That was all dead votes and corruption, unfortunately, and that's why New York is sick of it.
And you had a Republican city council member come out of here in the last few years, right?
Yeah.
So there's only 6 Republicans out of 51 seats in the city council.
Yes.
But I know there's a lot of Republican support from the Dominican community, right?
Yes.
What's your heritage?
Puerto Rican.
Okay.
Yeah, Puerto Rican.
All right, awesome.
So, yeah, born and raised here, but my bloodline is Puerto Rican. So,
all right, and so Eddie, what do you want to hear from Donald Trump tonight?
I want to hear that he's gonna keep fighting for the people like he's been doing, and just keep up the good work, and hopefully clean up the swamp and get rid of the central bank. That's the ones who's really hurting us.
Right.
All that fake money being printed.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, the printing presses are rolling.
We invaded by the foreign terrorists, the banks, Switzerland. That's the problem.
All right, Eddie. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes,
we'll
sir.
see you on the ground.
Yes, sir.
So, Real American Voices on the ground. I have
Eddie's
one more.
on it there at the end.
Yeah.
Fix the money, fix the state.
Really, just wonderful people there. And then we have cut number 3. We have Dawn from Jersey. Same problems in northern Jersey as the Bronx. Hi, Dawn. What brought you out?
Donald Trump, the #1 president. We love you. We need you. Come save us. Save us from the crime. Save us from the criminals.
Where are you from?
I'm from New Jersey.
What part?
Hawthorne.
All right, Hawthorne, New Jersey. So you got Patterson, crimes through the roof. Newark, crimes through the roof, right? You see those same problems in Jersey, right? Democrats have been running that for decades.
My parents live in Queens, and it's terrible over there. They can't leave their house at night. Worked all their lives and have to be scared to leave
What part of
their
Queens
homes.
are they?
Glen Oaks.
Glen Oaks, which was a beautiful area for so many years. And northern Queens, some parts have like a 40% increase in grand theft auto.
Yes.
Tell us about the crime in northern Jersey.
Car theft, stolen tires, stolen wheels, breaking into your cars. You can't leave at night. It's dangerous.
Wow. Did we lose sound there? Yeah. Oh, there's a delay. I'm looking at my computer screen. There's a delay. So, these people are really wonderful. And, that's what's going on in the Bronx. And it's a little bit of a different dynamic than the rallies around the country. It's always the border. It's always inflation. It's always national security. In the Bronx, people are scared for their safety, and they can't put milk on the table for their kids. And illegal immigration is right up there, though. That's what I got for you right now.
All right, very good, David Zier. Here's how President Trump might seek a direct appeal to the Supreme Court depending on the Manhattan jury's decision. This is from Mark Levin tonight. I asked my friend of nearly 45 years, Arthur Ferguson, who served as a law clerk to the late Chief Justice Warren Burger, one of the smartest lawyers that I know, if he represented President Trump, how he might seek a direct appeal to the Supreme Court if necessary. This was his reply. The U.S. Supreme Court can act by its statutory writ of certiorari to take a case from a lower appellate court, and the court also has a host of other processes, often called common law writs. I became acquainted with these common law writs, actually authorized as a general matter by the Judiciary Act of 1789, when IBM sought review of a discovery order by a vindictive federal judge when I was clerking for Chief Justice Warren Burger. A total of 6 petitions were filed. All were denied, and rarely are any common law writs ever issued by the Supreme Court. But there are, nonetheless, multiple ways to offer the Supreme Court an opportunity to review a conviction by a rogue court, as would be the case here. The principal ground I would rely upon is the denial of due process by not informing Donald Trump of the underlying federal crime he was alleged to have committed, the predicate crime that New York law requires to prove the New York crime. That is a kangaroo court to try someone for a crime that they are not informed of is as serious a breach of due process rights as we could possibly imagine. It's a Stalin show trial, darkness at noon. The timing of the trial and the blatant denial of fundamental rights can only be explained by an effort to interfere with the fair conduct of a presidential election, thereby, in effect, denying the American people the right to a Republican government. The Supreme Court warned that in Bush v. Gore not to be relied on as a precedent on the merits, but it can and should be relied upon as the Supreme Court acting to preserve American democracy from an imminent threat. Consistent with that is the refusal of the Supreme Court to grant expedited review to the immunity controversy at the request of federal prosecutor Jack Smith. The New York trial court represents an imminent danger to the fair and untrampled conduct of a federal election for the most powerful position in the world. The Supreme Court has the power to act to protect our democracy, and it should. If a guilty verdict is returned, it should act right away. So very important stuff there tonight. From Arthur Ferguson via Mark Levin, I'm assuming on his radio show. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe this was asked in private. But that's what the former clerk for the Supreme Court, of the Justice of the Supreme Court, said that the Trump team should do. So I guess we'll have to wait and see the rest. We'll know obviously by the end of the week. Right?
Hopefully sooner.
Yeah. All right, let's do a little more news, and here with that is Rick Delgado. What's going on?
All right, well, let's jump over to one of my favorite Democrats. His name is James Carville. Of course, he's always good for a laugh here and there, and of course, his political insight is relied upon heavily by Democrats. It just doesn't seem like they're listening to him much lately. Here he is once again over the weekend complaining about things and complaining about the Democratic messaging. This is cut number 7. Here's James Carville doing it again, going online as only the old 80-year-old Charlie Brown lookalike can. Cut number 7.
And we keep wondering why these young people aren't coming home to the Democrats, why blacks are not coming home to the Democrats. Because Democratic messaging is full of shit. That's why.
Well, there you go. His insightful political analysis, of course, right there for you on display. He wasn't done, though. Of course, last week, I didn't catch this one, but I found it today. Here he is talking about the strategy of the Russians are coming. This is cut number 8. More James Carville. He keeps on giving.
The Russians are coming. The Russians are coming. The Russians are coming. Notify people. This is not paranoia. All right, this is not the ranting and raving of some old man in South Louisiana that's like, I don't know, tinfoil hats or whatever. They're here, and they're going to continue coming.
And of course,
I got to start watching Carville's podcast. This seems like a comedy of.
He really was on it, especially on this one, cut number 9. Let's just run it. Do we have time?
I think the big thing when the state is going to rest, and I can't get the words out of my mouth to sufficiently say what I think is going to happen. I didn't the legalese of it. I don't know. I can't tell you what's going on. I don't think that a lot of the analysis is telling us if the state is proving its case or not. You know, and if the other question that the legal analysts I always would say is the documentary ever does a conviction hang on believing Michael Cohen? Now, I can't believe the prosecution is so stupid that they would leave that is the key thing to take you beyond a reasonable doubt. Like anybody else, I hear a different thing, but I don't know if the state has proven its case or not. And quit leaking stories about you believe polls or you don't believe polls. Who cares if you believe polls or not?
James, fired up.
That was a 5 bleeper.
All right, we're back to wrap it up. A little more news when we get back right after this.
I'm out.
We give a shout out to the Facebookers again.
Someone on Facebook said that they want to put their free T-shirt stuff in, but don't know how. So once again, if you used our code at MyPillow when you checked out, you used LFS6B for a promo code, and that saved you money. When you placed your order, you got an email from Mike Lindell that's entitled MyPillow Confirmation with your order in it. You need to forward that email to us at lfs6b@yahoo.com. lfs6b@yahoo.com. Send that email to us showing that you used our code in your order, and then tell us the size shirt you want, and then we'll send you your shirt. So you need to go through your emails and find the My Pillow Confirmation email. And that's basically just a kind of a shows you what you ordered, shows all your information, shows that you used promo code LFS6B, and what you ordered, what you paid. Forward that to us, and then we'll get you your shirt out.
Jody Parrish is asking on Facebook, David, have you shared the clip of Bill from Maryland from the New Jersey rally we have been watching? I think I did. I did play that, and I did share it on social media. But I'm still putting clips up on my social media. Go to @DaveZier, @DaveZier on X, and @DavidZier on Getter Truth Social Facebook, and David W. Zier on Instagram. I'll be posting all kinds of interviews that I don't share on the show because I've done about 60 of them in the last 4 weeks. So I'm still getting them out there. But I think I did play Bill from Maryland. He was great.
Bill.
All right, what are we doing here?
I got to do I want to do the watch.
Doing sports?
That should be a T-shirt. What are we doing?
We'll let sports, let Slick take as much time as he needs to do his presentation, and then we'll do Delgado. You got nothing else?
I have 2 quick stories,
you do?
30 seconds, if you want.
I'm going to read. She wrote a nice little card. I'm going to read the card.
I got Dennis Quaid.
And, you got Dennis Quaid? That was one of them.
Okay. So
and I got Trump takes lead over Biden black voters, Rasmussen.
Okay, so you do that one, and then you do the whatever else. We'll do sports first.
And Richard Dreyfuss in a dress. Did you do that?
Dreyfuss.
Yeah. Whatever you guys want.
All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday night. Glad you're in. Slick's been doing some sports. Delgado's news with Zier. Let's do some more sports now. It looks like we got Slickster. It's got something going on over there.
Yeah,
what's going on?
Nice
Sports
gift.
is brought to you by My Pillow. What's going on, Slick?
All right, Big D. Well, great follower in the chat's probably been a loyal follower for maybe viewer for 5 years now. Kristen, 8915. Young lady, her dad was the NFL Rookie of the Year in 1960.
Played for the Detroit Lions.
That's right. Played for the Detroit Lions. Very good. From 60 to 68. Then he took a little cup of coffee with the Colts from 68. And then in 69 and 70, he played with the Falcons. So he had a nice 9-10-year career. Great, put up over 55,000 yards receiving, 34 touchdowns, and great player. Apparently great athlete too, because, I'm going to read this card. It's such a nice card from her. Dearest Rick, I hope this finds you well. I was going through some of my dad's NFL items, and I cannot think of anyone but you who to gift this to. His first place NFL NBA charity golf challenge watch. Anybody but me. Please enjoy having it, and thank you so much for your kindness and being an important part of my life.
Wow.
Much love, Kristen. And this is a beautiful gold watch. And this is from the NFL.
Wow.
This is back in the day when they used to have their charity events, Big D. The NFL and the NBA used to combine. And apparently he won first place. So beautiful gold watch. And that is absolutely gorgeous. I will definitely wear this on the show tomorrow night. And thank you, Kristen. Much love to you. And thank you for being such a loyal follower.
Is there anything on the back? Is there an inscription on it at all? Or?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't take a look at that, Delgado. Let me see. No, it just says NFL Charity Golf Challenge. I'm not sure what year this is, but he passed away a few years ago, so I'm sure this was probably some 20 odd years ago. But yeah, it's awesome. So really great stuff. And just real quick, Big D, want to get to the scores tonight.
Awesome for you.
Oh, yeah, of course. Hey, listen, they go with the gold. Timberwolves and Mavericks at the half, tied at 49. Timberwolves were up by double digits at one point. They were looking good, but nope. Mavericks looking to close this out in 4 games and head to a championship with the Boston Celtics, who closed out Indiana last night. So we'll keep an eye on that. 49-49 at the half. And in the NHL, the Rangers went up early, 1-0, but the Panthers answered with 2 goals in the second period. 3:30 to go in the second. Panthers looking to even that series up. Right now, the Rangers leading that series 2-1 with their overtime thriller, and I mean thriller of a game on Sunday. So we'll see what happens there. And the winner of that will play the winner of the Dallas Stars and Edmonton Oilers series. Dallas leading that series 2-1. And Big D, I think that'll cover it for sports. I thank you for the time to thank Kristen. Kristen, again, thank you. Love you. Great job.
Yeah, that's very nice. Very nice. We love the audience. This is the best audience in television, this show. Doubt. And I've said that since we started doing this show. Well, I started doing this show in 2015, and these guys jumped in 2020. And it's still the best audience, and it keeps growing. And we love you. So, all right, let's do some news. David Ziers has got a story left, I think. What do you got going on there?
Richard Dreyfuss wearing a dress, making an ass out of himself, ranting about LGBTQ, Me Too, at a Jaws screening. He started the night coming out with a dress on, according to Breitbart, dancing to Taylor Swift, saying that this was an LGBTQ moment. What is wrong with these people?
That's not the story, David.
I was going to say, I thought he ranted about stuff and people left because he was he was ranting against all of this stuff.
Yeah, he was. He was making fun of the LGBTQ stuff. He was pushing back on the wokeism, and he says it's ruining movies.
Yeah.
He says it has no place in being used for awards or for what movies get made or anything like that. And he was getting a hell of a lot of pushback because people were flipping out that he was not being woke.
Yeah, they walked out of the theater.
But I have a video of him coming out in a dress.
Yeah,
and dancing.
But did you actually listen to it?
Oh.
No, but yeah, it was the opposite of what you think.
Oh, okay.
He was doing it as
he's railing against LG. Okay, good. Thank you for correcting me. I just found the story a few minutes ago.
He was railing.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah, he was railing, and people actually walked out supposedly.
Well, I take my words back that he was acting like an ass.
Yeah. No, he was not.
Right.
So.
He thinks this is all insanity. It's crazy. He doesn't understand what's going on in the world, and he thinks it's ruining everything. And
I was just watching him dancing in the dress, and I was like, oh my God.
Well, another guy who's come to Dennis Quaid?
Yeah.
What's the story on him?
Dennis Quaid says this is what's pushing him to vote for Trump. He said he argued during a recent interview with Piers Morgan. Basically argued during a recent interview that rather than politics, it was the weaponization of the justice system and his policy record that ultimately convinced him to vote for former President Donald Trump. He said, people might call him an a-hole, but he's my a-hole, according to the Hollywood actor. Quaid has been in Hollywood, of course, for many years. I think I'm going to vote for him in the next election, he said. He told this to Piers Morgan on Piers Morgan Uncensored. It just makes sense. I was ready to not vote for Trump until I saw what this is. More than politics, I see a weaponization of our justice system and a challenge to our Constitution. Trump is the most investigated person probably in the history of the world, and they haven't been able to really get anything on him. When asked by Morgan whether one has to like Trump to vote for him, Quaid replied that he cringed at some of the past rhetoric, but as president, the only thing I liked about Trump was everything he did. So there you have it, coming from, Hollywood actor Dennis Quaid. Who, say what you want. I mean, we really shouldn't be listening to actors and actresses and singers.
Yeah,
and all that stuff.
found that out today, didn't we?
So, yeah, exactly.
De Niro,
you get people like De Niro, and you want to throw yourself off a building because they're such lunatics.
Yeah, I just wonder, though, how many Dennis Quaids are out there. I bet more than we think.
Probably more than we think.
They're afraid to say something.
And speaking of De Niro, again, we were playing a couple of clips from him earlier. Here's one that I found. You know when he's speaking and the car horn goes off in the background? People thought it was an alarm or somebody was doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
Well, they actually caught the person who was doing it. We have it here. This is clip number 13. Check this out.
Is that the country we
Listen
want to
as you
live
hear
in?
the
Do
horn.
we want him running this country and saying, I'm not leaving, I'm dictator for life?
And that's who is doing it. He doesn't like De Niro either.
What the are you doing?
That brings whole new meaning to the term horn dog.
So there you have it.
Good for that guy.
That is the perpetrator of the horn honking during Robert De Niro's speech.
Yeah.
Oh, that's adorable.
He knows it's bull, too.
That's adorable.
That's great.
God.
Anything else, Delgado?
So there you have it. That's all I got.
Jason Meister on Twitter. I think he used to be over at Fox. I'm not sure where he is now. He says, hung jury, Trump goes up 5 points in the polls. Not guilty, Trump goes up 10 points in the polls. Guilty, Trump electoral avalanche, the likes of which no one can fully comprehend. The Democrat lawfare and election interference is going to end up being one of the worst political miscalculations in American history. What do you think of that, David Zier?
I'm arguing with Buzzard 307 on YouTube. He hates my guts.
And tell him to buzz off.
Yeah, buzz off.
Buzz off.
What do you think about what I just said, though?
Can you repeat?
Hung jury, Trump goes up 5.
I think he goes up no matter what.
Okay.
I think he goes up no matter what. Sorry, I've been getting insults from Buzzard 307 all night.
Come on, Buzzard.
Come on, Buzzard.
Hit him again, Buzzard.
What do you think, Delgado? Trump goes up 5, hung jury. Not guilty goes up 10. Guilty electoral avalanche, the likes of which we've never seen.
I think he's on to something.
I think he goes up no matter what.
Yeah.
You see the reports today that the Secret Service supposedly was talking to the jail? I mean, come on. I mean, that no one can be that stupid. They can't be that stupid.
No.
Even I have to draw the line at that for them.
And he's Class C felonies and first-time offender. He's not going to go to jail.
All right, as always, we salute our military, active and active police, firefighters, first responders, EMTs, everybody on the front lines protecting us, all our truckers, all our farmers, everybody that keeps the country moving. Thanks, everybody. Rick, David Zier, Aaron, Fran, great job as always. Most of all, thank you, live from Studio 6B audience. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. right here live from Studio 6B.